We're going to start the show out with a little culinary slash trading advice. Whether Beyond Meat is trading at $1.50 or $2 or $7.50 or $8, the burgers still taste like foam. There you go. Down 69 cents. That's it for my culinary take. We got some earnings and they're not too good. Tesla and IBM in the red, not good for the tech market. If you went home long quantum stocks, what were you wishing for? Well, you got it. The Trumpster. We may do some investing in quantum stocks. They're on the rebound. Maybe that will help out some of those nuclear stocks that got nuked yesterday. Crypto corner today, and we have just an all-around expert, our former Benzinga co-worker, John Gulbronson. He's going to be joining us at 8:35. It's Thursday, pre-market prep. Let's get it started.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Okay, good morning, traders and investors. We're down 12.5 handles. Haven't hit any good levels yet. We'll see what happens in the regular session. The buck here trying to get into the 99 handle, up 24 cents at 22 cents at 98.89. TLT giving a little back, but that's been strong as late. Down 35 cents, 91.71. The big mover here, that's the USO. That's up almost 4%, 269, 73.32. We got sanctions on Russia. We will do a little focus on the oil stocks today. GLD trying to rebound after just getting thrashed, up $1.12, 378.40. Silver on the rebound too, a little bit more. Nope, now that's flat, 43.88. And Bitcoin futures, they're on the rebound too. They're up $1,500. 109,450. Triple D, come on. Oh, major water spill.
He comes in, starting this day off right. I did it like 2 weeks ago. It's awful. All over all my papers, because I have like papers all over my desk writing this stock down and this stock down. Just awful. We'll get you all off the screen. He's going to get a towel. Brentster's coming in for the save here this morning. Let's get ready. Do a little trading. First off, though, want to wish a very happy anniversary to my lovely wife, 21 years, married here today.
Congrats to the Dicks.
Thank you very much. We are excited to be celebrating our anniversary today.
Any special occasions besides enjoying each other's company? I'm sure.
Probably go for dinner or something. So or lunch. We won't.
That's nice.
I obviously have to work tonight, so we'll celebrate this weekend. So awesome.
Nice.
Moving on. Baron Trump underwater. Apparently, they hear into the quantum stocks. So Trumpster, this is the joke from last night, but the Trumpster comes out, or actually Wall Street Journal reports that the Trump administration is considering investing in quantum stocks. And then the run-on joke on Twitter last night was Baron Trump was long, the quantum stocks need a bailout. But quantum stocks all popped huge last night. We saw them all up 20%, which actually on IB and Robinhood, I believe, is max up. So you saw RGTI go up, IONQ, QBTS, QUBT all up 20% last night. They have given a lot of those gains back. We don't have any confirmation of this. We heard that it was potentially only $10 million a piece, which would be kind of ridiculously low if that's the case. We do know that Trump is making an announcement at 3 o'clock today. I don't know if it's about quantum stocks. I highly doubt it, to be honest with you.
We don't know what it's about.
We don't know what it's about.
Yeah.
I doubt it's about quantum stocks, though. But the quantum rally from last night, which was significant, the quantum rally last night. Oh, Gabe, you're awesome.
Wow, that was a very nice gesture, Gabe.
20 pounds?
20 quid.
20 quid. What's a quid? I don't know what a quid is.
Like bucks.
That's all right. $20. We'll take Gabe. Thank you. We're gonna go have a drink on Gabe. Excellent. I love the tips. Okay, got lost in my train of thought here, but obviously, markets rallied significantly on the quantum news last night. We saw the Qs go from being down $1 to up over $2. So you had quantum rally last night. That has fizzled out, and the Qs are now approaching the lows. So lots of reasons for the markets to be down, which we saw last night. Tesla earnings, IBM earnings is bringing down some other tech stocks. We've got, LRCX, which was up and then down. And, interesting day yesterday where I kind of said this, and we can show the S&Ps when we get Joel here back in a second. But the S&P was only down 0.5% yesterday. That has got to be the worst 0.5% down day in the history of the stock market, because there was so many stocks down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7%. Like, it was across the board weakness. The S&P is so insulated because they buy the staples, they buy the utilities, they buy the drug stocks, they buy some of the value names. They know they don't rotate to cash because the market hates cash. They hate it worse than anything. So they rotate in other things, which helps to elevate the S&P back up. But I tell you, there was carnage yesterday in so many names. Oklo, the nuclear trade, continues to go down. It's down just a little bit here this morning. It rebounded last night on the Trumpster. I think of the nuclear names popped up with quantum names because they're all linked. Same investors in there.
Barron bundled together. Yeah.
Trump. How do we get the Barron Trump portfolio, folks? Everybody is asking me. We know the Nancy Pelosi portfolio. We got the Nancy tracker. How do we get the Barron Trump tracker? Because that's the good one there. That's got the Trump put all over it. So how do we get the Barron Trump? If you guys got a link, let me know. I don't know how to find that. I'd love to find out what Barron Trump really owns, because we don't know if he owns the quantum stocks. It was a joke. But we'd like to know. So if you've got a link or any way to find out what Barron Trump owns, let me know. You can email us. You can just message us, whatever you want to do. But that's, the housekeeping here. So into earnings, the Brentster, into earnings. And Joel Stir is still cleaning up this water spill. It is like Niagara Falls over there.
A waterfall must have happened.
He's shaking his head in the background. He's looking.
Okay, so Lisa, she asked me to clean my desk. I don't think that's exactly what she had in mind.
That's
you got everything washed up though now, so it's
yeah.
all
Well, the
spotless.
bad thing is that it went and then it didn't stay. It went and then it started coming in.
Well, Joel, now you don't have to go to the pool. You can just swim right here at your desk a little bit later. After we're
that
off
was
air.
bad. Okay, back to our
Let's get your
regularly
charts up
scheduled
here.
programming.
Yeah, we're getting the charts back up here. We don't care about Bitcoin, but we want to bring up Tesla because Tesla reported here last night. You missed my quantum rant and you missed the Barron Trump rant, but that's okay. We'll move on to Tesla, which reported earnings, and they were okay, I would say, just okay. Brentster, you got them in front of you. We'll get the Brentster reading off the earnings for us.
The sales did beat sales 28.1 billion. Let's call it 26 billion was the estimate. So a nice beat there. However, the earnings did seem to miss. Adjusted earnings 50 cents versus a 54-cent estimate. SAC initially moved higher, then it moved lower, then that next leg lower. If you're looking at a near-term chart like a 1 or 5 minute chart, that next leg lower, Dennis, was on the conference call. You were listening in. You were like, he just said in conclusion, and he hasn't said anything.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Musk could not talk the stock up, at least this quarter.
He didn't even attempt to talk the stock up. So he was on, and the market's listening. The market started rallying. He didn't say any updates like new cities for Robotaxi. It started getting hit a little bit when he talked about Optimus, and he said next version of Optimus likely in Q1. I think that was a little farther. It started to get hit a little bit. And then he talked about Optimus for a bit, saying it's going to be the best product ever, same stuff he always says. No other auto company can compete with them, all that stuff. And then he said, in conclusion. And when he said, in conclusion, and hadn't given an update on Robotaxi, really didn't give us much at all, the stock tanked 10 points. It tanked 10 points in 10 seconds when he said in conclusion. And then he finished his sentence and the stock was already down 5 points. So you got to look, like when you're listening to conference calls, and we've taught this in the STN room, it's little things like, oh, we had a great quarter, but on the but, they will hit the stock. They're that fast. So it's like right on, like it's anticipatory on what is going to come out of the mouth. In conclusion, when you haven't said anything, is a sell event. So if you said some awesome stuff and the stock's going, it's fine to conclude. If you haven't given any new tidbits and any talk up the stock and saying, oh, this next quarter though, we know it's like this year wasn't the greatest year for Tesla, but next quarter we see it all tracking higher. It's all all good. No, none of that. In conclusion equals sell.
I blame Steve Jobs for this. This is something that we notice. This is a thing where I don't know if algos are actually programmed or if it's just humans reaction, but Steve Jobs saying like the one more thing gave us a prompt, these audio cues, these visual cues for like the people to start selling or the algos to start selling. It's really kind of interesting. We see it all the time during conference calls or presentations.
And we compared this, you compared this with Apple, with Tim Cook, because Steve Jobs was always like, oh, he's giving us so much. And then he'd go, but one more thing. And then he'd have a huge announcement.
Wow,
He'd like be something blowing us away. Tim Cook
exactly.
never has one more thing. You know why?
No.
Because Apple doesn't have any innovation. It's just a cash cow, folks. They haven't had innovation for years. He doesn't have one more thing to talk about. Yeah. If Steve Jobs was still alive, Apple would be by far the most valuable company in the world, and like not even anybody close. Not even anybody close. Unfortunately, we lost him too soon because he was the innovator of all innovators. So I've been on the bandwagon that I think Tim Cook should be gone. But the stock's doing well, so people don't care. It's been a buyback story. It's been a multiple expansion story. That's all it's been because the top line hasn't grown in Apple for years. But they don't care. They're in a bull market. They buy stocks, Joel. This is what we are, a bull market. They buy stocks.
This technical setup in Tesla, there's nothing just jumping out at me. I'd have to say that the bulls are still in control. You had this big move up. What was that on? Was that the Musk investment in September? What was that announcement where it just had that quantum leap back in early September?
I see what you did.
And it's held. So I'll just look at, you had the low from a couple weeks ago around 411.5, and you had another low at 411.43. So I'll just keep this line down here, and I'll just say, that's your support. If you want to buy, maybe look for a dip. If you want to lean on that area, as if you're stepping out and buying it at 421. But it's just been resilient. It has not really given back that gain. So I will say the bulls are still in control until that level 412 is breached. And then you just got a lot of air. I don't know if it's going to take a market meltdown. I don't know really what the earnings are not a catalyst. So there it is. It's just very choppy. You do get occasional double tops in there that you did from the last back on that would be Monday and Tuesday. So that's it. It's just no hot take in Tesla.
I would just say until I can get over 450, it's just sit this one out. Maybe I haven't still. Obviously, I'm long from $200 in the long-term portfolio. But I think, to add to this and say, oh, this is breakout central, it needs to get back up over 450. Failed the last couple of days, that it was up there. Obviously, we sold off, so we're not talking about 450 today. But I think you just sit it out. Sit it out until it gets back above 450. Gets back above 450, then it gets interesting. But the whole entire market, is a little bit heavy right now. We know there's profit takers in a lot of stocks. And, the S&Ps held up very well. They continue to hold up. Rotation station keeps the life of a bull market going. But we still got a lot of carnage under the hood. And I mean, Tesla is a Momo stock. It's a lot of other traders in there that own a lot of these other momentum names. And yesterday was not the momentum day. I mean, and to talk about just the incredibleness of yesterday and the sell-off that was in certain stocks, let's just talk Beyond Meat for a second here. Because this sell-off in Beyond Meat was unbelievable. I don't know if I've ever seen a sell-off. I don't know if I've ever seen a stock go up 150% in a day and then give it all back and be down 20%. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, but I'm sure I have. But, it's some smaller stock, and Beyond Meat is a small stock. But this stock, yesterday morning, hit $8.80, I believe, Joel, in the pre-market. $8.80. And then just slowly leaked all morning until it actually went red just after lunch. Then we actually, last night, got down to $2.50. I mean, these are incredible moves. And if you were in this and running this thing in and saying, this is the next GameStop, and we're going to squeeze those shorts, you know what the short squeeze turned into? a long squeeze. And you got punished, and you got punished severely. And if you're chasing stocks, you get what you deserve. We say on this show all the time, don't chase. If you were chasing Beyond Meat yesterday, you lost a lot of money.
Incredible move. I mean,
To give it all back. Like,
yeah.
it's one thing to give some of it back, but to give it all back. And then it was the other ones too. Flowers was up like 40% in the morning. FLWS. It gave it all back and almost made a new low. Like, look at that. Like, it was up 40%. It gave it all back and then almost made a new 3-month low, 4-month low. That's incredible too. So, I mean, that's where we're at here right now, folks. We are in the sell the rip market. No longer buy the dip market. It is sell the rip market when you get these rips. Just like the quantum stocks last night. They were all up 20%. That IO1Q is only up 8 now. RGTI is up 8. QBTS 11. CCCX up 5. These are CCCX, another quantum name. This is the sell the rip market. Sorry. Bears in complete control. Sell the rip working awesome right now. So if you're looking for dips to buy, you're doing it backwards. We're looking for rips to short. That's what we're doing here right now. That might change. Maybe the Trumpster comes out at 3 o'clock and says, I'm buying every corporation in the U.S. and, we're going to go higher here. Or maybe he just talks about the war or something like that. We don't know what he's going to mention at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, we don't know.
Trump is alive and well, but I tell you, rips are being sold on everything.
This kind of price action has to have you concerned. I mean, this is a excessive speculation is a lot what you see at long-term tops in the market. And what you saw Beyond Meat and couple, I mean, those are usually they stay up there for like a day or two, but
yeah,
they're
not even holding for an hour. There are sellers galore. Sure, that could have been the name of the title, sellers galore. And despite the S&P and the Qs just holding up very, very well, there are sellers galore. And if you're sitting here on margin right now long, I'm scared for you. Not saying we're going to crash, but we saw quickly the Qs started selling off yesterday morning too. They bounced back. Trumpsters helps out a little bit last night. But I mean, we went from 610 to 600 on the Qs in a couple hours. So there is a lot of fluff in here. There is an overvalued market. There's a lot of reasons to be cautious here right now. Is there a reason to sell your whole portfolio? No. We still have a Trump put. But if you're sitting on margin and you're margined out and you're like, oh, I know the market's going higher, you don't know anything. There's a very good case here that the market is trying to top. Tops are hard to call. It may not happen. It probably doesn't happen. So, but I think being conservative on the long side is prudent right now.
I bet you a lot of people were hoping that Trump was gonna have a presidential dinner and serve Beyond Meat burgers.
If Barron Trump bought Beyond Meat yesterday at like $5-6, he may just do that, Joel. But maybe Barron Trump wasn't in the short squeeze trade. Where is that Barron portfolio? We need that Barron portfolio so we know what Trump's going to pump next.
Did you go in detail? Did we skipped around? Do we want to do IBM? Do we want to stick on?
Yeah, no, we'll go to IBM. Big Blue, having the blues here today. Worst day ever for it to report. I'm longing in the long-term account. I wanted to sell it, and I'm like, I can't because it's in the long-term account. I believe IBM is a turnaround story. I believe IBM is not that cheap of a stock, but I think, it can grow into a valuation. I think quantum's, a good way to play quantum. So I'm like, I'll just hold it. But I'm like, it's the absolutely worst day to report because stocks were popping and dropping everywhere. This didn't even pop. The earnings weren't even that bad. Actually did pop briefly. The earnings weren't that bad, Brentster, IBM. They were pretty good.
The earnings were good. We were having to figure it out. JV in the STN room was like, this was like a triple beat, right? I had to go double check. So they reported $2.65 in earnings. That's a 20-cent beat versus the estimate. Sales also beat $16.3 billion versus about a $16 billion estimate. They did say they raised their full year sales growth guidance. Before they said that sales growth is going to be at least 5%. Now with last night's report, they said more than 5%. So a very modest raise there. And just for a little perspective on that 5%, because a few people in the chat room were saying, that's pretty low, which I do agree. Last year, they grew from this quarter that they just reported to last year, they grew about 8% or so. Looked like a solid report.
It was a solid report. The growth rate is slow, but it's been slow at IBM for a very long time. Again, it's all about the day you report. I mean, when you're reporting good earnings and they're in the sell the rip camp and they're selling everything. I mean, like, look, last night there was multiple. LRCX was pretty good last night too. Do that one. LRCX was a pretty decent report. It popped $10 on the report. And what do? What did I just say? We're in the sell the rip market, folks. That's where we're at. Sell the rips. Sell the rips. They do it on LRCX last night too. Give us those earnings, because you know what? These companies may not be fundamentally related, but they're all related right now because we're in sell the rip mode.
LRCX last night, $1.26 versus $1.22. Sales $5.3 billion versus $5.2 billion. Guidance looked solid, expecting Q2 earnings 105 to 125. Analysts are down at 104, and the sales guidance for that quarter also looked pretty solid for LRCX.
That report was fine. Stock pops, but then gives it back. So, these are themes. This is what we look for. It's not about the earnings. It's about the reaction of the earnings. And we were seeing that even the day before on some earnings stocks. We've been seeing pops get sold, rips get sold, sell the rip market. That's where we're at. The bears are out and they're selling rips. And you know what? They're getting paid to sell rips. Think about all the money. You'll hear about the person that bought Beyond Meat, bought at 3 and sold at 7. You know what? When these people are shorting the stocks, they don't tweet. It's professional traders in there. They're just raking it in, man. It's like, 7, 8, 6, things at 4. They just payday. They just rake it in. You don't have to go out there on Twitter and tell everybody about it. Oh, how much I'm a hero. Because, when you actually have to go on Twitter and post your P&L, or you have to go on Twitter and talk about how good your trade was, you know what that tells me? You're not confident enough in yourself that you need that confirmation from other people.
Sure.
So don't go and brag on Twitter that you need to go brag on Twitter, because you know what that makes it look like? It makes it look like you're not really confident in yourself. You need to get confidence from other people telling you how good you are. You don't need that. You guys are good traders. You listen to PreMarket Prep every day. Don't be that person that has to go on and post my P&L when I got a good trade and brag to everyone about it all. You don't need it. You don't need it.
How many of those posts do you think are like simulated accounts? They're not even real accounts.
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of those, but those are obvious. Like when I tweet something, there's immediately like 7 responses to my tweet. Immediately, like in 1 second. And it'll be like, this person, follow this guy. This guy has such exceptional results. This person made me so much money. I made $10,000 off of it. And they're posting for some other person. So obviously it's paid promotional stuff.
Yes.
So they're all over that. Those are obvious. But you can totally tell what is a bot and what is not a bot. You can totally tell. AI is not that good yet. You can totally tell. My wife will give me an anniversary card and I'll have like some awesome poem. I was like, you didn't write that. You had a chat GPT and she'll laugh about it.
No,
you can totally tell what is AI generated and what is not. It's not. One day you won't be able to tell, but the bots just aren't that good yet.
I just have to say, I know what you are looking sharp today.
Look at shirt.
Look,
you know where I got this shirt?
I always look good, but
do you know where I got this shirt?
Super Value Village.
Yep. Value Village.
SVV.
Yeah, my wife picked it out from Value Village. SVV, right there. There you go. You get your cheap shirts at SVV, Value Village. Where is that stock? Savers Value Village. I can't go in because I'm barred from the place, which we've told the story before, but my wife picked it up for me. Value Village.
Is actually a stock too.
Yeah, it is. Savers Value Village. Get good deals in Value Village.
If that's not a tease to come check out STN, then I don't know what is. You can hear Dennis. You can hear the story about how Dennis got kicked out of Super Value Village for trying to scam the cashier.
I wasn't even scared of the cashier. I'm like,
scam.
It's like they think I'm like a shoplifter or something. It wasn't even like that. I had a store credit, so slow it down because I don't want everybody to think like I'm a shoplifter or something. I had a store credit for $100. And my wife had sent me there, she had sent me there to return something. And they gave me a store credit for $100. And I'm like, I could never spend $100 in the store ever. Like, it's not even possible. Like, the shirts are like $10. And I'm like, I don't like anything in the store. So there's no possible way. This shirt's nice, but that shirt wasn't there that day. I'm like, so I actually found somebody with a full cart of stuff, a full entire cart of stuff. And I'm like, hey, I have a store credit here. Can I buy your stuff with the store credit? And like, I'll give you like, like the extra money with it or whatever. They have $80 worth of stuff. You have the $100 gift card or the store credit. And like, yeah. Anyways, the manager got a sniff of what I was doing and said, you can't harass our customers. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I said to the person, am I harassing you? I was giving them an extra $20. They're like, no, we're good. They're like, leave my store now. Leave my store now. You can never come back here again. I'm like, I thought that was actually pretty smart. That was pretty smart of me because I wasn't going to spend $100, but somebody else had a full cart of stuff. They were obviously spending close to $100. So I'll buy my stuff with their store credit and everybody will live happily ever after. Oh no. Savers Value Village doesn't want their store credit back. They want cash. So they kick me out of the store and say never come back again. So anyways, I'm wearing the shirt from Savers Value Village, but I don't go in the stores anymore. That's the story.
My only word of advice would have been like to stand outside the store and catch people as they go in.
Doing that. Ooh. Well, they were going to bar me on that too. She was all over me.
If you laughed
and all over me. She knew what I was doing. She knew I didn't want, because I fought on the store when I was returning the stuff. I was fighting it already. She's like, oh, we don't give refunds, but we give store credits. I was like, I don't want a store credit. I don't want $100 worth of stuff from here. So I was like trying to get it. So she already was on to me. And then I started walking around the store trying to see about, if I could buy anything or whatever, like use this store credit up. And I was like, oh, bang, this is what I'm going to do. I'm using my thinking cap. This is what I get paid to do. I get paid to think. I'm like, I'm going to get out of this. So sorry. Terrible tangent, but that's
great tangent
for you. Anyways, the stock, is doing well. You do get cheap stuff there. So the company, is fine, obviously, but the manager didn't like me.
Reel us in, Brent. Reel us in.
I don't even know where we go from there. I don't know how you
we can go.
I know we do. We go look at IBM, and if you're looking to buy the dip in IBM here, you're hanging out at the pre-market low. Nothing great. I'm not sure what the expected move is. Pre-market low comes in at 265.13. I would give you a potential buy zone if you're long this stock. 50-day 63.79, pre-market low 65.13. So I think the longer it takes to get down to that area, maybe you get a little bit of a turn, but that's what you're looking at. Big move, IBM. Let's see if you can catch a bid here in the mid 260 handle and stabilize for a few days. LRCX, a little bit easier technically because the high in IBM, that was almost 299 on the initial pop. This one is just settling in between 130 and 150. That recent all-time high, 154, that low, 20. So that's a 24-point move. 142. You got to get above, and you have multiple highs at 145. So until this gets over that, let's call it 143.5, I'd say path of least resistance lower for LRCX.
Lots of other stocks reported last night. The theme kind of remains. We saw LUV drop earnings there last night. That stock popped up to 35.5. We're talking about it yesterday. We're like, we don't chase on this day.
35.5. Wait a second.
36 even. They had 36.
Okay. If
36, almost 36 bucks.
If you're trading a stock like LUV and you're going to trade it after hours, at least be cognizant of like the average daily range, or what's the range been for the month so far? The range for the month so far has been $4. And then you do in one move, you add $2 of that, a big thick stock. Just think about how much stock it would take to move love in the regular session, just piling through those offers. So,
and we're in the sell the rip market.
Yes.
Well, the earnings don't even matter. We got Brent Sturf. He's got the earnings. He can give them to us, but they don't even matter. They were going to sell the rip camp. We talked about it last night. We talked about LUV popping up. We talked about all these stocks popping up last night. I mean, rips are not holding. If you want more proof, we can continue to give you proof. There'll be more companies that report tonight, and more rips will probably be sold. Now, nothing's 100% of the time. Somebody will point out the one stock that held on to the gains. Well, it's not open. The market's not even open yet, so they may not even hold on to the gains. What was LUV earnings?
And this is one of the most telling things when a company is expected to report a loss and reports a gain or vice versa is like a very important moment for that company. And Southwest reported a gain of 11 cents per share. Analysts were expecting a 3-cent per share loss. So that's like a very, very nice beat there. Yes, exactly. Sales 6.95 billion, also a decent beat versus the 6.92 billion estimate, but they're selling the rip.
This is how crappy this market is. So that is just nice fundamental information. The algos were, right in a normalized market. The stock would probably go up, but we're not in a normalized market. We're in the sell the rip market. So you algo programmers out there, you got to be aware kind of the macro environment that you're in. You got to be aware of the themes that are going on. So this is why, I'm like profitable, all these months, because I have identified themes. And we can clearly see the theme right now is don't chase and sell the rip. That might change next week. Keep listening, folks. Stay tuned because we may change our mind. It's okay. The market changes. Sometimes we're in buy the dip camp. Sometimes we're in sell the rip camp. Somebody will tweet at me next week when the market's making new all-time highs and say, Denny, you told me to sell the rip. I'm like, yeah, well, you got to keep listening to the show. You can't just take one thing I said from 2 years ago and say that applies today. The markets are dynamic. They're always changing. So you, as a trader, have to be changing as well. Right now, at this moment in time, we're in the sell the rip camp. We can see that. The rip got sold again last night in the S&P, man, and the S&P doesn't go down ever. So
do you think we've seen the highs for the year?
I don't know.
I mean, I would just like to see the market go up on something besides a tweet.
Besides Trump.
Yeah.
I will say this. If not for Donald Trump and his relentless popping and pumping the market, this stock market would be lower. So, I mean, that is one thing. Love Donald Trump or hate Donald Trump. He is moving the market higher all the time. The market dips. He comes out with a tweet. He comes out with the truth. He comes out and says something on Fox News that will make the stock market go back higher. We saw it 2 weeks ago with the China thing. I knocked the market down. He wakes up and sees the market down, 80 handles and says, I can't handle it. I got to go do something about this. And he gets out there and starts truthing and says, it's all going to be okay with China. So this is it. The administration going to say something about the stock market today? Probably in passing comments or whatever. He wants the stock market higher. He is the most powerful person in the world right now. So that is one reason to not be eternally bearish. That's one reason to not throw in the towel and sell everything, because you have a person wants the stock market higher and he moves markets like nobody before. So that's something to consider longer run. But right now, in this moment in time, we're in the sell the rip camp.
Folks, it is time for the Hive Digital Crypto Corner segment. We got a really good source here coming on. We'll get his take on the crypto space, maybe talk a little blockchain, maybe talk a little Detroit. Here we go. Ooh, how fancy is that intro, John G? John Gulbronson, good buddy, old buddy from the Benzinga crew. He's a great Detroit community leader. Also, probably the biggest crypto head that I know. John, how you doing this morning?
Good, Brent. What up, Doe?
What up, Doe? We're chilling. I'm pre-market prep. Wanted to get your thoughts on what's going on in the crypto space. Give us a little background here. How long have you been learning about crypto? How long have you been studying crypto and blockchain?
Yeah, so I guess my first real foray into crypto was around the 2017 bull market. I've had a little bit of experience with my friends mining at home before that, but the blockchain market really didn't catch my eye until that bull run that happened in the 2017 market with Ethereum. That really made things, I guess, interesting just to learn about as a developer. Really, okay, there's this new programmable money that's coming out of the market. And it's I'm a developer, so I've been building iOS apps, building websites, a lot of that stuff, learning how to code, building with databases, and then you have this new form of money coming out on the market that's just making waves. Okay, what does this mean? What we can do with it? And that time, it was a good time for me to understand what the changing of finance and what finance really is. And at that time for me to learn from a technical person with a technical background to that. And so that was my first time really seeing, I guess, what crypto could do to change the way that we interact with money online. And more than just that, like this there's a lot around like the sovereignty of like how these monies allow you to really operate more freely on the internet. So yeah, that got me really excited, and I started spending a lot of time learning about what it is, what the blockchain space is. So that's really where I first got into it.
And you've been doing, at least maybe a little compliment here for me, but you've been doing a really good job, I think, keeping your finger on the pulse of crypto and blockchain, especially as a developer and somebody who's just going to be using it in his life. You're going to a crypto event, I think. Is it later this year or is it next year?
Yeah, I'm heading out here at the beginning of November. DevCon, DevConnect, basically. This is Ethereum Foundation organizes this traveling crypto event. Last year was in Thailand. I believe this is the 7th rendition that'll be in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And basically, yeah, people from all over the world come together. They share what they learn. It's really almost like a month-long thing. There's a lot of surrounding events that happen. They bring hackers out weeks beforehand, weeks after, to just different like side events to bring these like developers together to just like code, hack, and learn and share information and stuff like that. So it's a really good environment to really see, I guess, the cutting edge of what people are working on, what they're talking about. And so, yeah, I've been doing that. This is like my 4th year going to these types of conferences.
Sweet. And yeah, that's why I was really interested to chat with you on air, because I mean, if you're going to this event, if you're traveling all the way to Buenos Aires, I mean, you got to have a good feel for it. I mean, what are some of you probably looked at the schedule, you looked at some of the feature speakers for this event in Argentina. What is like some of the emerging trends, or what's the stuff that they're going to be talking about at this event that's really kind of like pushing the envelope in the space?
Yeah, so I guess on that, I would say like a lot of these events, a lot of this, people hear these different trends, like DePIN was like one big trend that came out kind of in the last cycle, and everyone's like looking at what are these cryptocurrencies that can be used to manage decentralized finance from a physical infrastructure perspective. How can we leverage the edge compute and all that stuff? So there's a lot of like cool like tech and protocols and stuff that come out like that they continually cover and like share upgrades on, like what is the newest in that, what is the newest in layer 2 stuff, how can we scale this stuff. There's always a lot of that stuff. What I think is most exciting about this conference that they're pitching, and particularly in Argentina, it's like we all know the story of Argentina, right? Like they have had a lot of currency issues over the years, massive amounts of inflation. I guess we're bailing them out in many ways in this. I don't know the full details of this situation that we're bailing them out in, but helping them out economically. But there's a lot of people in Argentina. There's actually a lot of developers in Argentina that have built technologies in this space because they clearly saw the value early on. MakerDAO is, I believe, it's one of the most popular DAOs that have been like created a decentralized stable currency out of over collateralized crypto assets. And it's like it was a very interesting early use case that was pioneered in Argentina. And so I think the most interesting thing about this conference is really what they're pitching is, okay, what does Ethereum look like in the real world? And so they're as much as possible going to hopefully will experience this type of integration of what actually Ethereum looks like in the real world in a place like Argentina. Sure. Improve a much better stable financial future for a country like theirs.
Okay, so like in that vein, what do you think some of the applications for crypto or blockchain are that most people like don't understand or maybe underestimate? Is there like something that we're moving toward where you think people just don't like get it yet, and maybe they'll start understanding in a year or two or something like that?
Yeah, I guess it's hard to say what exactly that would be. I mean, from my perspective right now is like it is really about the utility of it. I think I've been like trying to take a step back further and further and like what is the actual like value here? And I think at the end of the day, if you look at like a lot of these, even a lot of like the traditional players that are out there right now, the traditional like tech companies like Google, Facebook, and all those, Meta, and all these people, it's like it really is. I mean, data is obviously one thing, information, but compute. And so I think a lot of like, from what I look at, like Ethereum, with Ethereum, the actual token, you really are paying for that ability to run a compute, to run a cryptographically secure smart contract, right? So it's like that's the real value in this. And so I guess I just see it's hard to see like where exactly like which protocols are going to be the ones that win, because at the end of
Gotcha.
the day, this is technology. So it's like we can deploy our own blockchains that communicate within our own networks. So it's like, how do we really see where all the value is going? I mean, Ethereum obviously has taken a very large portion of the market share, and then tools like Solana try to make things, the development environment more advantageous. Developers just kind of move fast and break things. But I guess where I'm at right now, it's like, it really is about the compute. So I think there could potentially be some interesting application when it comes down to like, decentralized AI compute. Like if you want to pay for the computing of artificial intelligent algorithms, there's a lot of compute costs in that, and so a lot of
Sure.
traditional players are building these centralized data servers that you can run these. I can pay Amazon or Google or any of these players to run my AI services, but there's also a lot of value. There could potentially be a lot of value extracted from these decentralized networks that you can pay to do this, the same function. And there's interesting tech being developed out right now where it's like there's these open source AI models that you can use and deploy on these networks. So if they make it, if some of these open networks make it easy to run these compute algorithms, I could see there being a long-term use case. Yeah, I guess that's sort of, I try to stay pragmatic about it, about like what these. It's easy to like have there's technology. It's like, okay, so like, how can I, now that I have this technology, what can I do with it? But like,
Yeah.
sometimes it's just technology for technology's sake, and it's like, it's a little overkill.
Sure. So I feel like at least from the stock market angle, one of the biggest themes recently, like kind of like clumping quantum together, is the data center infrastructure spend. Like how much money is going into generating energy and maintaining this energy. I think that's what you're touching on a little bit there. From the crypto side of things, is there like, a goal for this energy aspect of it? Is there something that people should be focusing on right now, as far as an opportunity for an investment or a trade in the way of this data center line of thinking, this data center energy spending kind of thing?
You're saying to like looking out for the energy compute side of things, like what is?
Yeah, like is that's a huge focus for the market right now? Is that a huge focus for the crypto heads on the crypto side of things also?
Yeah, I guess that's an interesting question. I guess I've not seen anything specific on that. I think like Ethereum's proof of stake switch, was like a big like quashing of the question of like, okay, so is this a sustainable network? Do we need to keep burning compute just to manage the security of this network? So let's switch to something a little bit more efficient, or a lot more efficient with
Yeah.
proof of stake. And that's already happened. And so
Sure.
it's like I as a developer, I have not seen anything specific to
Interesting.
advancements in that.
Yeah.
But I think the point of what you're getting at though is, I guess, the same thing that I was saying. It's like compute. So it's like, I think it's like right now it's like I saw projected, AI compute is going to like rise to 12% or something of the energy consumption that we have in the United States. And so it's like,
Yeah.
that's
Wow.
AI compute's different than, I guess, like these cryptographic. I think like energy wise, like Bitcoin is going to be the one that's always going to require the most energy because of just the way that the algorithm works with proof of work and the hashing that goes in. So it's like, yeah, these Bitcoin miners are always going to need energy, some amount of energy, to be able to secure the network. But I think most of the cost and energy wise is going to be into the AI plays going forward. That's how I would imagine. I don't think there's really much, just like percentage wise. It's like, okay, if it's less than 0.001% to secure these markets, it's like it becomes irrelevant. I don't think that this energy in cryptography is the real
I hear you.
play.
I hear you. So a little bit more into kind of like the nitty gritty. Let's talk about, like platforms that you might be using to do some research or some investing or some trading in cryptos. Is there like any like must-have software for somebody who is, interested in the crypto market or looking to get into the crypto market?
Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, I guess I'm not really much of a trader these days. I typically use Robinhood and Coinbase as like the simple platforms to have access.
They're fine. They're
Yeah.
like not,
they're well trusted, platforms,
Yeah.
right? I like anything, not your keys, not your crypto. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't, and that's like, okay, my thought in a lot of these like central players, like, okay, don't put all your money in Coinbase, don't put all your money in Robinhood, don't put all your money in Schwab or whatever platform. One of, God forbid, one of them lose their keys, or like somebody hacks their crypto, then you have to wait, or like you lose your account. You want to have access to your money. So it's like, I think it's good to distribute the money, and then also having a cold wallet is something that, just to prove, or just part of the essence of this is, sovereignty. So I think it's important to at least practice and understand what it is to secure your own crypto. But yeah, for me, for platform wise, like, yeah, those are the ones that I usually use, but I'm not usually, sometimes I hear things while I'm like out on these travels, and you hear about upcoming cryptocurrency stuff, meme coins usually. And sometimes you jump on those, but yeah, I'm not a trader by any means.
John, I got a question for you here. Just
Yeah,
talking
shoot,
about
guys.
the safety aspect of crypto. We've heard recently that, and it was even coming from, I believe it was the QBTS CEO, talking about that quantum will eventually be able to break the Bitcoin code because of the compute that they can do. Is there any truth to any of this? Like, is eventually crypto going to get, hacked by quantum and we're all going to lose all our Bitcoins? Is this possible, or is this just too far away to even worry about at this point in time?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of talk about like these quantum resistant algorithms deploying in these networks. And so that's kind of like a good like safety catch-all. It's like, okay, yeah, we could just update this. So we just have to make sure we're ahead of the curve before these computers are actually able to run these types of things. But yeah, I think that it's like, so if the current algorithm believes SHA-256, elliptic curve cryptography to run these cryptographic algorithms to actually like come up with the answer to the puzzle to win the Bitcoin reward. And if that algorithm is broken and people can rewrite all this stuff, a lot of the same security protocols built around traditional finance will be broken as well. And so I think we'll have a lot more issues to worry about if somebody takes these computers and has nefarious actions to run. It's like quantum computers.
They're going to do worse things than just hack your Bitcoin.
Yeah. So I think we should be more afraid, I guess, of who has it and what their intent is. But at the same time, yeah, I think that a lot of these things too. It's like, okay, it's like what is that world? I saw today on online. I guess we like produced color of the first like heat hydrogen or fusion reactor today, which is kind of interesting. But it's like, if we got these computers that are able to solve these like crazy problems, hopefully we just like solve a lot of these problems, and money's not even a thing anymore. But we'll see.
Sure.
We'll see where we get with the types of compute available to us and how our human minds and incentives use these.
John, I got
new
one
powers.
question for you. Bitcoin is a transactional currency. People buy it to hold it for the value to go up, right? And so if you have Bitcoin, you can transact with somebody else with the Bitcoin account. To me, it's too volatile really to be a transactional currency, because I'm going to pay you, John, for some programming you did for me, and Bitcoin's 109,000. And then it drops $2,000 overnight, and whatever. So I owe you less money. Where are we? Where are we at with Bitcoin? Is there a point where it's actually going to be a transactional currency?
Yeah, I guess transactional. I guess it's like these terms and all of this stuff. It's like, so yeah, I don't know if it makes sense to. I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's like, yeah, the value changes all the time. I guess my perspective on it is the gold narrative. I would say, I guess it's like, okay, so I guess China's been buying up gold like crazy, and a lot of these like sovereign nations been buying up gold. But then, at the end of the day, okay, so you take this gold and there's a custodian for it, and then do they actually have that gold? And if you want to actually transact, you're just like transacting through paper, that these like paper certificates that you're what is the actual proof of that? So I'm looking at it in the fact of, I don't think, maybe long term, if the global currency situation changes and the US dollar doesn't reign supreme, like maybe we will be running these types of transactions. But I guess I would just look at it like any other asset. And like right now, I saw some videos talking about, people were before looking at using Bitcoin to get in the real estate market. But now with a lot of the players, like you can actually take out loans on your crypto now in dollar. You can do it I do it on Coinbase right now. You can loan USDC with your Bitcoin. So it's like, why ever spend your Bitcoin? You can just use it as an asset to secure a loan and use the US dollar coins. I think what's really going to take off for this blockchain stuff really is these stable coins. The ability to we got to trust. We're trusting the same traditional financial institutions with these types of digital stable coins. And so I just think that we can you send $1 with these new blockchain mechanisms. It's the same dollar today as it is tomorrow. So I think people will just use that as their blockchain transaction before Bitcoin for the very foreseeable future. Most of the dollar changes, really. That's how I look at it.
John, we've been trying to figure out what a stable coin is for like 8 months in this chat. So we might have to have you back on one time soon so you can explain to us, walk us through like some layman's what a stable coin is. But appreciate you coming on today and giving us, a crypto guy's perspective to a bunch of stock bros here. So appreciate you, John.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. Enjoy your day, guys. Good to see you again.
All right, later.
Super nice guy, knows his stuff. I know we can get deep down into the weeds in some of the crypto stuff sometimes, but I mean, it's good to learn about other asset classes. I mean, we can, and if you go back to 5 years ago, me and Joe are like, we're not into crypto. It's not our gig. Now I'm a hodler, so I want to learn about this stuff. Like we got to learn. So even if you're not a Bitcoin, you don't want to have your own Bitcoin or anything, you can sit back and learn something, though. It's always good to learn. Always be learning. Rivian to lay off more than 600 workers amid EV pullback from the Wall Street Journal here, breaking in the last few minutes. Our IBM trading down a little bit on this. This is a stock just can't get away from its 11, 12. This was a SPAC, was it not? Was Rivian a SPAC? 10?
No,
I think it was.
I get IPO'd.
Was it IPO? It was an IPO? You might be right. It might have been an IPO. It was an IPO because it was like 120. It was an IPO. You're correct, Joel. Yeah, but still 10, 11, 12. This is the ultimate support for this stock. Drove in a Rivian last weekend. Pretty fun truck.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, pretty fun truck. Fast. 800 horsepower.
Snazzy, right?
I wouldn't oversay that. I thought
No?
I was like going to be snazzier, but it's nice inside. But it's got the power. Like the EV's got power. 840 horsepower or something. Like you sit back and it's like, holy, it's like a rocket ship. It felt like a roller coaster, like when you hit that thing. It was really going. But I don't know, like it's a high-end vehicle in a market that's, just not, a lot of people are like struggling in this market, like in this economy. We know there's some people doing really, really well. Those involved in the stock market have been doing really well. But there's also a lot of people who have been struggling too. So I think it's just, Rivian may be a victim of just, people maybe not buying $100,000 trucks. So truck's cool. Looks way better than Cybertruck. I'll say that. Like way better.
Oh,
like
that's Cybertruck.
It's slick looking. So would I buy a Rivian? Yeah. I was like pretty impressed with it. But the only thing I couldn't figure out though, the key card's like a hotel card. So you're in there. I don't think I told you guys. And so you go in the truck and it's supposed to just like start when you go in. But the key card maybe needed recharging or something. So it wasn't just starting. So we're trying to figure out how to start it. You had to rub it on the side of the door to get it going. It's kind of weird. It was weird, I know. Like when my fob goes in my truck, I push the start button with the fob, and then so if the battery goes, you can still start the car. When the charge goes out of like the key card, like it gets demagnetized, maybe the key card's by your iPhone or something. Then you've got to actually use the card, and I'm like I don't know where to put this. There's no place to put this thing. So then you rub the side of the door. Weird, a little bit weird, but anyways, nice truck.
Did we have a little tell in the GM earnings yesterday or 2 days ago regarding internal combustion engines? I mean, was that something that you were thinking? I mean, the big uptick in that scaled back on the
Well,
EV?
we get Ford tonight too.
Yeah.
I mean, this might be a preview. Like General Motors just, killed it. Is there a place to buy Ford ahead of the report here? I mean, value stocks are back in vogue. Ford is sitting here with a 4.83% dividend, trading last time I looked like 7 or 8 times earnings. I mean, maybe we should think about, like, I don't intentionally usually go long companies into reports. And, you know, it hasn't the best environment to be long in, but we know value trades are back in vogue. So PE forward basis on Ford is 9 times. Like, these are cheap stocks, folks. And if they start to show like the people are like buying, General Motors Ford P is 6 still, even after this move. It's still
That's
6 times.
crazy.
It was just so cheap. It was 5 times. That's why I said it was $50. Like, if I was coming to take it private. So, I mean, you see Tesla 150 times earnings and you see GM at 5. I mean, yeah, we got Optimus and Robotaxi, and they got a lot of cool stuff over Tesla. So does technology company. But I don't think these General Motors and Ford are going to get left in the dust on everything here. Like, they got it. Like, I know, like Ford, you have Ford Blue. So it can drive itself on the highway now, change lanes, do the whole thing. It can't do city driving like the Teslas can. So it's quite a ways behind. But it's, you know, not impossible that they're eventually going to get this technology in their vehicles as well. So I'm just making an argument here. If General Motors is kicking butt, it's probably that Ford did okay as well. Nobody wants to comment on Ford though.
I was
I mean,
just pulling up the chart.
yeah, pulling up the chart in Ford. I mean, it got the pop. It's holding the gains. Underperformer. I mean, 12.4. I mean, it just a lot of times, just my memory, like they always don't go hand in hand. You know, the GM and the Ford earnings, but
No, and maybe GM set the bar too high. You can always
Yeah.
make that argument that GM's popped, so then the bar is higher for Ford, and if they don't do it, it can go the opposite way. We often do see that happen, so that could be the case as well. I see these Ford Broncos everywhere, though. Like, don't you see, like, when I'm driving, I just see
Yeah.
these Ford Broncos. Like, they're all over. They're awesome looking vehicles. Like, Ford makes some pretty cool trucks too. I have an F-150 in my driveway. They're expensive as hell now. Like, I can't believe how much money they are. But the Ford Broncos, those things are cool too. So
sweet.
I don't
They're
know.
like the
I just
new-
think, like,
It's like the new Jeep.
yeah, I
Yep.
think that Ford is starting to turn itself around here. And this has been a stock that has been in the gutter for decades. Decades. I mean, we've been talking about Ford. It had the nice run from 2021 when we thought EVs were going to be the thing. And then Ford was going to change. And we went from 5 to like 25. But we've been hanging out back down here for a long time now. Like, this has been the dog of all dogs. But it's a full value. It's not like the company hasn't been doing well. They've been growing sales. They've been growing this company here, and some of that's due to inflation because the cars are just more expensive now, so they have higher sales. But I think there's an argument here that Ford might be a turnaround story.
All right, hey guys,
This
even
uniqueness,
after-
I can't be
I gotta
serious.
hop. I gotta
I
hop
am
here.
serious.
I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you guys finish up. I'll let you guys hop,
Okay.
and everyone have a good day out there.
Okay.
right,
Me and
Joe.
Brent are
Later.
going to finish the show off for you here. What do you want to talk about, Brent? We got 2 minutes here. Let's just have a nice little chit chat. We got
Yeah.
all kinds of earnings. We got all kinds of other quantum stocks are leaking tremendously here. Actually not. Look, QBTS popped back. It's up 18% now, so that's not true entirely. But QBTS popping back. It's an interesting market. As much as I was like, why was the market, you know, we're seeing a lot of stocks stronger today in the pre-market. Oil stocks, we never got to oil. Oil very strong
Sure.
here this morning off the Trumpster comments there. We've
Sanctions.
got most, yeah,
Sanctions on Russia, Rosneft,
Yes.
and Lukoil.
Yes, which is good for oil. So we're seeing oil stocks pop up. We're seeing Apple green, Microsoft green, Google green, Amazon green, Netflix coming back. Kramer was full on pitching Netflix last night, said to buy the dip. We're seeing a lot of stocks green here this morning, and the S&Ps are trying to buy the dip again. So as much as we've been saying we're going to sell the rip camp, we're also going to buy the dip market here too. So you know what? The fade trade, folks. What is the fade trade? When you sell rips and you buy dips. That is where the money is being made. Don't chase. That's my final comments.
Great final comments to wrap pre-market prep here. Triple D and I are going to continue the conversation over here with the STN community at StockTraderNetwork.com. We do still have that code running if you want to check it out this week, PMP STN. Come check us out. We're going to get ready for the open here, and we'll be back tomorrow, folks, with Friday's episode of Pre-Market Prep. Good luck, everyone.